Hey everybody, G4 Video 5 here, and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto 3. In this part, we will be completing Luigi's missions.
Luigi said to give you this, so here, take it.
There's a new high on the street. Goes by the name of Spank. Some wise guys been introducing this trash to my girls down Portland Harbor. Go and introduce a bat to his face. Then take his car, respray it. I want compensation for this insult.
So something you're going to notice in these cutscenes is that Luigi can be a bit extra at times, and I know he didn't physically make an appearance in that cutscene, but his love letter to Claude was plenty enough to convey his current state of emotions over this affair of this drug dealer in Portland Harbor, providing his women with this new powerful drug that's sweeping Liberty City by storm, and the drug is called Spank. And it's a consensual type of spank that isn't very good for people, as we will see the effects it has on people over time in later missions. So this Spank drug is probably based off of cocaine or something like that, and it's a pretty major part of this game. A lot of missions use it as a plot device, and there are certain arcs that involve Spank to a pretty major level. So besides this mission introducing us to the concept of Spank, it also introduces us to baseball bats, which I declined to introduce a baseball bat to that guy's face, as I find just running him over being easier. Plus, I don't like using the baseball bat in this game. I'd rather just use a vehicle to kill somebody or use a gun to shoot him down. You know, the baseball bat takes a bit more effort, and it's not as efficient as using something else. So I don't like it being in my weapon inventory. Not that there's like a capacity or anything for the weapon inventory, it's just that it occupies a space that you have to scroll through when you're switching from weapon to weapon, so I'd rather just not pick it up in the first place since I'm never going to use the thing. Now, beyond the baseball bat, there's also a pay and spray being introduced in this game, which can not only repair and respray vehicles, which is kind of nice, just in case you want a different vehicle color for whatever vehicle you're driving, that can fit into the pay and spray, but also it can get rid of unwanted police attention, so it's a very handy tool to have in this game.
On a combo, what am I gonna do? Leave. Hey, I gotta talk to you. Alright, Mick, I'll talk to you later. How you doing, kid? The Don's son, Joey Leone. He wants some action from his regular girl, Misty. Go pick her up at Hepburn Heights, but watch yourself. That's Diablo Turf. Then run her over to his garage in Trenton and make it quick. Joey ain't the kind you keep waiting. Remember, this is your foot in the door, so keep your eyes on the road and off Misty.
So I remember as a kid that I thought that there was this hidden time element involved in this mission, because Luigi says that Joey ain't the type of guy you keep waiting, and it made me kind of stress out a little bit, because it's like, oh, you know, I don't want him to wait too long during this mission, but in reality you can take as much time as you need, as long as you don't fail the mission in some capacity. But anyways, for this mission we're going to use our uniquely colored Kuruma that we got in the first mission of this game.
Looking regular for Luigi now, huh? It's about time you got a drive on the truck.
So the reason for exiting the vehicle after honking the horn is because Misty walks very slowly during that cutscene where you're watching her exit her apartment and walk over to the car. So it's really annoying dealing with that because she's incredibly slow for some reason, but if you exit the vehicle like how I did, after a certain point of walking, she'll sprint over to you, and that's just overall much more faster than having to sit there and wait for her to eventually work her way on over to the car. So it's just a little workaround there. It's pretty nice, and I don't know, maybe it's just impatience or this speedrunner mentality as to why I like doing that.
Yeah, I'm a dirty fucking slut. This pussy's yours.
I'll be with you in a minute, Sparkplug. Hey, I'm Joey. Luigi said you were reliable, so come back later. There might be some work for you. All right?
So after getting a tasty $1,000 for completing this mission, we now have Joey Leone's missions unlocked, but we still have some more missions for Luigi that I would like to complete because I would like to get 100% completion in this game. So theoretically you could skip the rest of Luigi's missions if you wanted to, and you can still complete the game, but since we're chasing after that 100%, we need to do the rest of those missions. But first, what I would like to do is head on over to St. Mark's and get a couple weapon pickups. The first weapon pickup I want is an Uzi, which can be found in this alleyway. And the reason why I want an Uzi is because in the next mission, I would feel comfortable performing a drive-by on some enemies we have to take care of. Performing a drive-by involves remaining within whatever vehicle you are driving and using an Uzi, and only an Uzi, to shoot at your enemies. Now, there's also a package there next to the Uzi pickup, which I like the weapon pickups in this game. They're like flashing with a specific color that's dedicated to a specific weapon. It's really nice looking, but that package is something we will collect at a later point. I'd like to collect all of those packages at once later on, but for now we have the Uzi, and since we're in this area, we're also going to pick up a very powerful weapon, as well as some body armor, and that weapon is an AK-47, and the body armor gives us another health slot, basically. It caps out at 100 at this point in time, and is very nice to have.
Some Diablo scumbag has been pimping his scuzzy bitches in my backyard. Go and take care of things for me. If you need a piece, go around back of Ammu-Nation opposite the subway.
So you see what I mean about Luigi getting all extra during these cutscenes? I mean, he was up in Claude's face, he was yelling a little bit, his voice was cracking. I mean, he was pretty serious about this whole Diablo scumbag situation, which, by the way, this mission is called Pump Action Pimp, because the pimp that's hanging around with this Diablo scumbag is wielding a pump-action shotgun. So that's why I wanted to pick up the Uzi before this mission, so we don't necessarily have to get too close into contact with that shotgun. We can kind of take care of the whole situation before it even becomes a problem. So thankfully this Diablo scumbag isn't a complete scumbag because he abides by traffic laws, so you can shoot at the Diablo Sentinel, which then causes the Diablo gang member and the pimp to exit the vehicle, and then you can perform a drive-by again on them directly. So that is quite nice compared to going around back of the Ammu-Nation opposite the subway to pick up a free pistol, because why would you want to get out of your vehicle when somebody has a shotgun and you're only attacking them with a pistol? I mean, it's a scary situation there. Now, speaking of scary situations, what I'm doing here is showing off the location of the coach in Portland. And the reason why is because the next mission that we're going to do for Luigi requires us to pick up a certain amount of people and take them to a destination. So there's going to be a lot of people to pick up, so rather than taking them 3 by 3 as we would normally do with a Kuruma, for example, we can just kind of pick them all up at once by using the coach. So it can be a preferred method if you want.
Policeman's ball is being held at the old school hall near the Callahan Bridge, and they'll be looking for some old school action. Now, I got girls all over town walking the street. Get them to the ball. They'll make a bundle. Get as many of them as you can before the cops drink away their green.
So for this mission, we will be utilizing the coach that we got before this mission began, as this mission involves us collecting at least 4 women to take to the Fuzz Ball, which is a great name, by the way. There's nothing quite like a vintage bush, but there's going to be a maximum of 8 women that we can collect around Portland to take a So hopefully this attempt of the mission goes better than the previous attempts. You kind of got to watch yourself when you're using this coach because it's such a massive vehicle, you got to watch where you're swinging that thing. So we're going to change things up a little bit during this next attempt of the mission, as on the left side of the screen we're going to be using a Kuruma, and on the right side of the screen we're going to be using a coach. Now, there are pros and cons to using four-door vehicles versus using a bus/coach. And I would say the major pros of using a four-door vehicle like a Kuruma is that you have greater maneuverability. The speed is much easier to achieve in such a small vehicle, plus cutting corners and going off-roading is a bit easier to where you don't have to slow down so much, unlike with the coach where it's harder to achieve a higher speed quickly, and it's really tough to turn corners sharply, which is kind of what you would want. So you kind of have to compensate by maybe taking different routes and roads rather than just kind of going directly to one of these dots that indicate where a woman is located, because it's harder to kind of reverse and turn around and make U-turns and stuff like that. So you gotta plan accordingly when you're planning out your route, which, by the way, these women will always be in the same set locations, and I love that about the coach. I don't know if you saw that on the right side of the screen there, but this thing is a powerhouse. There was a taxi that was in my way, and I just crashed right into it, and I was hardly affected by that, but the taxi just went flying off into that junkyard area, so, I love that about the coach. That's definitely a major pro, and kind of makes up for a lot of the issues with the coach, because it is a slower vehicle, it's harder to accelerate, it's difficult turning corners and slowing down, which, by the way, slowing down is a major factor in collecting these women, because the women won't start running towards your vehicle until you've slowed down to a near complete stop. From that point, you can begin accelerating again and moving on to the next woman, so it's definitely something to watch out for. In the way of routing, though, I do enjoy that with the coach you can just make one round trip rather than going back and forth between dropping off the women at the fuzzball location and then collecting some more women, which is what you would have to do with the four-door vehicle on the left side, which, by the way, you don't necessarily have to use a Kuruma. I'm using a Kuruma because it has a bit of sentimental value to me, because it was our first vehicle, at least this specific Kuruma was our first vehicle that we got in this game with its unique color and all that. And I don't know, I mean, it's just personal preference. A heavy suggestion would be to use something like a Mafia Sentinel, which, by the way, earlier in this video, we picked up an AK-47 in a back alleyway, and near that back alleyway is actually a parked Mafia Sentinel. In case you want to steal that and use it for this mission, it's definitely a recommendation. It is a fantastic vehicle at this point in the game, but the Kuruma will suffice as well. It does the job quite nicely. Now, to retouch on the objective of this mission, you're given 5 minutes to drive around Portland and collect as many women out of 8 as you can to deliver to a fuzzball location. Now, you have a minimum requirement of collecting 4 women to drop off at that location within that 5-minute time frame. Now, if you collect more than 4 women, then you get a nice little $500 cash bonus for each of those women. So that's pretty nice, although I will say that money is very abundant in this game, so you don't necessarily need to do that. But it's definitely an option for you if you're that hardcore of a completionist there. So this is the final mission from Luigi in this game, which is kind of sad, he was our first mission giver, and he opened the door for us in the criminal world of Liberty City, allowing us to prove ourselves, and then he gave us a new contact in Joey Leone, so it's a little sad there. And, maybe that emotion is kind of coming through to me now that Luigi has been expressing up to this point during these cutscenes, so I don't know, I'm just being extra, but yeah, that is basically it for Luigi. Next up, we have Joey Leone, but I'm not going to get to Joey Leone's missions just yet. There's actually another mission giver that's right near Joey Leone's garage. So, that concludes this part. In the next part, we will be doing payphone missions for a man named Marty Chonks. So until then, I will see you next time.